Decagram or Dekagram. If one wants to describe 10 grams, would the appropriate wording be decagram or decagram, assuming us English? Word recognizes both words as valid. Wikipedia lists only decagram. Merriam-Webster knows both. Google recognizes both, although it gives a definition for decagram if you enter decagram.
Ngram offers some evidence regarding the usage of the two words. In American English they are both used, with decagram being more popular, while the opposite is true in British English. Decagram, DKGRM. Abbreviation DKG. Variant of decagram.
There are in fact three spellings in use in English: decagram, decagram, and decagram. Now, mostly with such matters we're full of caveats about how there's no official spellings in English, and so we'll most often look to patterns of use with tools like Google Ngrams to show how accepted or otherwise a given spelling is. In this case though, we do have standards. First, the SI International Standard as currently defined by ISO 80001 defines the gram itself, along with the abbreviation G used in all languages, even those that don't otherwise use Latin script, and also the Deka prefix along with its abbreviation DAG, and as such DAG is formally the only correct formal abbreviation in any language. Now, that standard also leaves the spellings and forms, e.g., how a plural is formed, in different languages to the authority of the language if it has one, English does not, or to the body responsible for adoption of ISO 80001 otherwise. In the US, that body is NIST. They use the spelling DECA. As explained in the International System of Units, SI, NIST Special Publication 330. The spelling of English words is in accordance with the United States Government Printing Office Style Manual, which follows Webster's Third New International Dictionary rather than the Oxford Dictionary. Thus the spellings meter, liter, and deca are used rather than a meter, liter, and deca, as in the original BIPM English text. However, note also that the SI brochure Le Système International des Unites, SI, which is in French but with English text following, is the source of this NIST publication, and sometimes used directly by people in the US. So, in American English you strictly should use decagram, but some will indeed use decagram. In Britain, the relevant authoritative text is the Weights and Measures Act 1985, which uses deca only, but for the spelling of gram notes. No provision contained in or made under this or any other act prevents the use of a gram or a gram as alternative ways of spelling that unit, and the same applies for other units in the metric system, which are compounds of a gram. As such, both decagram and decagram are officially correct, and we are back to looking at patterns of usage. Decagram wins on that score, and increasingly so, as gram, while once a popular spelling, has been dying out over the last century. So, in British English you can use decagram or decagram, but should probably only use decagram. Now, all that about officialdom said, even when there is an official standard in how English should be used in a given context, it isn't always followed. Informally, deca is more popular in the US than the above would suggest. As such, in an informal context you could reasonably choose to use either. This would also have the advantage of being more recognized by users of other variants of English. However, if you are writing a technical piece in which conforming to NIST standards is important, you should use decagram. Or you could just ignore the issue. Deca-/deca is a rarely used prefix in SI, so you could just use 10 grams, which is equally acceptable in SI terms, and more common in terms of English usage. Likewise, for 4 decagrams/decagrams use 40 grams, for 55 decagrams/decagrams use 550 grams or 0.55 kilograms, etc. You could also use 5.5 hectograms for the last one, but hectograms aren't commonly used either. And if you don't need to conform with NIST, then you should definitely do the above to avoid decagram/decagram/decagram entirely. They really aren't used much.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.